That's the chief design officer. How many companies have, large companies, not small ones, large ones have chief design officers? I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 out of all the large companies in the world. Why is that? So how come, designers, you don't get promoted? Well, how do engineers get promoted? A designer once asked me, he said, the administration doesn't pay us any attention. And I say, well, how do you try to tell them what you do? And he said, we meet with them and we show them all the wonderful work we do, and we show them the letters of thanks we get, and we show them the design prizes we win. And I said, well, yes, if I were the executive, and I was a business executive, so I know if somebody came to me and my team came to me and told me how all the wonderful work they're doing, I would say, yes, that's very nice, we know. That's why we hired you. But I wouldn't change anything. I would say, thank you very much, and now let me get back to work. If you want to get their attention, you have to, don't tell them what is going wrong. Don't say the way we're manufacturing is causing harm to the environment and therefore causing climate change and other problems. Don't tell them the way we're manufacturing is causing harm to the people who are being paid very, very low wages all around the world, including in Mexico. We heard a talk about that yesterday here at this conference, and being treated to horrible conditions. Don't tell them about that. Don't tell them that's wrong. And what the executives want to know is what the solution is. Telling them the problem doesn't help. Tell them the solution. But the solution isn't you should stop. And the solution isn't we should make things that are easy to repair and that will last for longer and longer and longer. Because they will say, but wait a minute, we make our money by selling you a phone. And we want to sell as many phones as possible. If you say, no, the phone should last 10 years, 20 years, then we go out of business. So you have to give a solution to that. Now, design is supposed to be a creative field. So where is your creativity? So what's the solution? Well, once upon a time, we didn't buy telephones. You have to be old, but I'm very old, so I remember. We went to the phone company and said, I'd like a phone in my home. And so they would say, good, and they would put the phone in your home. And then they would charge you a monthly fee. Well, today we pay a monthly fee to the phone companies to get service. But in those days, they provided the telephone. And if the phone broke, they'll fix it for you. And if you had difficulty, they'll come and fix it. They were selling you a service. So the field of service design, I think, is the most important field to think about in the future. Because everything's a service. I mean, I have a microphone. But the microphone is for a service, so I can talk to the whole crowd. Or we can make recordings of it. And if I buy a camera, it's a really nice camera, and I choose which camera I want, but the camera itself, what does it do? It looks good. What I buy the camera for is the service it provides. It provides me memories of the places I've been, of the experiences I've had, or that I can share with other people and send to other people. So if we switch to a service economy, the products come with it. Take a look at the automobile. Do you know that most automobiles are parked? Your car is parked more than you're driving it. And it takes a huge amount of space in the world to pave all the world and have many parking lots just handle all these cars. Well, suppose I just ordered a service. BMW did this for a while. That is, I didn't have to buy a BMW car. I would just pay a monthly fee. And anytime I wanted a car, I would take out my phone and see where the closest one was. And they usually, in this big city, there'd be one or two blocks away. And I would go, and there'd be a bunch of BMW cars, and I'd decide which one I wanted, and my phone would unlock it, and I would drive it away. So I was in Munich once, so we did that. We wanted to go to dinner, and so we searched for the car, and we went and we got the car and drove to dinner. And afterwards, people were dropped off at their home, and then the driver simply found the closest place to leave the car near his house, and left it there, and then went home. And so what it means is you only get a car when you need it, And if you needed a car to commute, well, you got a small car. And if you needed a car for the family on the weekend, for everybody to go on a trip, you got a big car. You could change whichever car you wanted, and that's a service. And it was popular for a while, but it sort of was too soon. But that's the sort of thing that we could do, and it would change the world dramatically. We need less cars, they'd be more efficient, they'd be used more efficiently. And it wouldn't cost you any more than the cost of a car already. The cost of a car is already expensive, plus the fuel, plus the insurance. And in Mexico, there's high tariffs if you try to import a car. In some countries we do that. In Singapore, the way they reduce the number of cars is you need a license to bring in a car. And the license often costs much more money than the car costs. So we can change things. And why can't we do that more? But notice that the solution to the problem of too many automobiles is a political problem. So designers, you have to A, learn to work with other groups. B, understand what is in business. Because when you want to convince a business to change, to move to what we call the circular economy, so things last longer, and always reuse, so we don't need new material each time, we reuse the products. Some companies already do this, by the way. But you have to understand the language of business, which is spreadsheets and money and profits and margins and costs and politics. And you may not be interested in that. Not everybody